So this was a weird little side project where a very young person wanted to get hold of a truck for his plastic soldiers, and so I thought I'd facilitate this by taking some existing vehicles and turning them into something a little more army. So you can see me here cutting up one of those cardboard chests that you find at like a hobbycraft place, and taking the back off the main truck and creating something about the similar length really, because it was this car transporter, and then cutting down the chest so that it felt more in scale with everything else, still keeping the top of the chest. And I'm just going to have to put the little grips that sort of like held that in place back on, and obviously toying with some other little bits of prop and stuff like that I could have around. You can definitely see I'm going for that Indiana Jones truck vibe. Here you can see I'm thinking about remodelling that front so it's a little less domestic looking and a little bit more, I don't know, badass or something, and that seems to be working. And also I wanted to put some mesh over those windows. So that's it, primed. And then sprayed a nice kind of military green. Obviously masked up the tyres and everything, didn't want those, and masked up the inside of the cab as well. I then created a load of stickers in Procreate. Well, they weren't stickers, they were just paper printouts, and I eventually sort of like thought, alright, I'm going to get around to sticking these on. Obviously the little man's name sort of like needed to go on there, and some other details that are sort of like specifically for them. And then I thought, because I'm obviously, you know, I had wanted two options, so I wanted a bad guy's vehicle as well, and as well as this sort of like, you know, the one for his good army men. And once I'd done that, I kind of like photoshopped those up into place just to see what they'd look like. So this is before printing any of them out. And then went to town and sort of like photoshopped what I thought maybe all of that would end up looking like as well. That's the Photoshop version. I was quite pleased with that. I thought it all looked okay. So you can see the printouts are there. Some of them are very small for my big sausage fingers. That's how I did it. I basically just used Mod Podge, PVA style, and then glossed them over with the intention I was going to lacquer them all later on to sort of like preserve them. These things actually opened up and they had like some battery operated things, but the sounds worked great, and I thought for what I'm going to get from the sounds and what they're going to get from the sounds, I might as well just like lock all that down and save them, like, you know, damaging the front every time they opened it up. So that's that. My idea was also not to paint the front bull bars on this, so that there wouldn't be any paint chipping no matter how well lacquered it was. Just keep those bull bars clean. And then this is using sort of like tissue, like wet wipe tissue dried out, and then Mod Podged over the top of the surface to create this kind of canvas style effect. Here I'm creating little side panels. I've got this great little die cut set where you can hammer things out. I'm also very badly misusing my rotary tool here to poke little dents through on little bits of plastic, which is just cut from margarine tubs, but to give the effect of riveted sort of repair panels. And you can see those being stuck on there. I've got some other bits that I'm kitbashing in from some sci-fi kits that sort of like I'd been given. These are obviously hole punches, loads of different sizes, made little metal rings to go around where the canvas top would have been pulled down. And you can see the canvas top now is all kind of fitting there. By the end of it, this canvas top doesn't fit as well as it does at the beginning, but there you go. And to hold things in place, because this is going to be played with rather than just sitting on a shelf, I bolted a lot of stuff into place, so mechanical fixings as well as chemical fixings, and then tried to make sure those were covered up, so you know there was no sharp edges or anything like that. So you can can see that starting to come together. Some additional sort of like large hole punched card rivets going around on the edge there. And this is spraying all of that. This is the first time I've really taken one of my 3D models, I suppose, to a fully painted finish, and it's something I'm not particularly good at or necessarily confident at, I suppose, but I enjoyed the process, I suppose, and yeah, well, it is what it is. The back I again mechanically fixed using cable ties as well as glue, so that's glued and cable tied through the chassis underneath. Now that's all fastened together. I was starting to get into it at this point. I think I was really thinking that was worked. There's little reflective red lights on the back there as well. They're hole punched out of Christmas labels that have got like a reflective surface, and so there you go, and there's it with the unpainted canvas top in place. I used some I think it was Tamiya, oh no, maybe Italiera sort of like tank kit stuff to sort of like add some more scale pieces. Those petrol barrels, and you can see that there's petrol canisters and things like that. I think the petrol canisters actually came off a really cheap plastic Jeep, toy Jeep that I'd picked up at some car boot or second-hand place. So I just pulled that off the back and cut it down and then put it on there. So there it is, been sprayed. Some of the surface probably needed a little bit more priming or PVA priming. There you can see the panels coming together. So that's again what it looked like originally. Here's what it looks like now at this stage, and there's some of the little plastic army men trying it out. I did think about putting some chain on the front and everything, but again, it's just too fiddly and little pieces that might come apart and everything like that, and you don't want that. So there it is, all painted right. And of course there was a second one. Like I said, I was thinking about a bad guy's truck, and I bought these two at the same time, and I thought, let's go for it, let's make the second one the bad guy's vehicle. So there you can see all the bits masked up that I thought was masked up, needed to be masked up. Masked the windows, put tissue paper inside it so when I sprayed it, and I got this gunmetal grey, and it really wasn't the colour I thought it was, so I thought I'm gonna have to play with this a little bit. So I masked up some of the sides, sprayed parts of it green at the back, sprayed parts of it with black stripes at the front, and got this kind of what ended up being quite a nice finish, I think. Found some panels from some other plastic army toys and fastened them onto the side, so there was like a little hide that could be done. These were off another Jeep, a very different scale, but I thought that'd be cool to sort of like fasten around the back, and then more bull bars on the front. Again, using the granny mesh to finish that off and to also do the top. I made a little hatch in the top because I put these like barriers around the side that were going to cover the doors. I figured that just for my own benefit, I'd not want to know how these guys got in and out of the vehicle, and they were going to get through that hatch on the top. So again, getting the labels very small, cutting them out with scissors. That's real tiny. Yeah, and there we have it coming together, and that's obviously that little back bit winds up, and yeah, pretty pleased with that. Here they are. I'm putting lacquer on them now. It's like a matte lacquer, so it turned down some of the shininess on the vehicles, and this is then pretty much done. So yeah. That's how it originally looked, and the glamour shots at the end. Again, how it originally looked, and the glamour shot at the end. Well, it was a slightly different project from some of the stuff I've been working on before, but it was fun, and it seems to have gone down okay. So yeah, see you at the next one.